Now, this has allowed them to see where you know, their business, you know, is flowing while they've created, you know, the marketing strategy before they can then go on to create a full length. So it's always good for you to start with a short, you know, a short system, like a testing area, a testing area where you test your product, you know, before when you create an advert. It's good for you to have a certain segment where you test the market to see. So while you test this market, you know, you go through this. This in itself would allow you to evaluate, you know, where and how you do, you know, your next step, you know, how you create your next plan, your next strategy. So in order to be successful with your products, you know, your product launch or your service. So, but and also, well, after this we have we have networking actually, and networking. None of that is not written up here, but it's good for you to have networking in place, because for startup, networking is a key aspect, you know, a key aspect for you to market yourself, market your brand one-on-one. Don't forget, people came into trust. So they need to be able to trust you. They need to be able to understand what you're selling. They need to be able to relate with you, because we as human beings or beings, whatever we want to term it, you know, we enjoy communicating with one another. We enjoy communicating with one another. So it's good for you to be able to network with people as a startup business, or even as an existing business. For you to keep your business going, you need to be able to network with one another, be it business to business, you know, or P2P, you know, person to persons. It's good for you to be able to network with one another. So that same whole principle, you know, when you're networking, you create awareness, you educate them, you tell them about the interest, you create the desire. There's the action plan takes on later on. But I'm just putting in a preface so that it's easy for you to understand, you know, simple terms. I try to put it on the one level so that it's easy for you to relate to it, and you remember all these steps when you're taking your next action, when creating your next, you know, marketing or advertising strategy, and the things to consider. Now, if you remember earlier when I talked about research, mission, your business objective and your research. Okay, now this itself is the research stage. Now this is a framework that I think would be useful for everyone, like irrespective of whatever stage you are. You know, this framework is it allows you to do an analysis of, you know, of the macro environment. So say you're working within a sector. Let's say you're working in I keep using the fashion. So yeah, the luxury section, the luxury, you know, for you to understand, because you need to understand your external environment in order for you to take care of your internal environment, so that it doesn't hinder you. So it's easy for you to grow. Now the PESTO is called a PESTO. So it's political. P stands for political, E economical, S social, T technology, L legal, and then you have environment. Now this itself also can help you when you're developing your marketing. I'll use the word M&A, you know, M&A strategy better, you know, I'll just abbreviate it. Yeah, M&A. Now, say you are a law firm, right, and you want to create an advert, you know, for your firm itself. Now, you need to consider, you know, the political forces around that country where you are. Do they allow you? Are they a democratic nation? Do they allow you to talk out? Do they allow you to express what is it? Okay. Now, when you set up a business, you need to think of, you know, the tax aspect of it. You know, the tax, the policies in place. Are there policies in place that would allow you to work in partnership with other firms? You know, with other businesses, you know, that would promote your business. Like in the UK, if you're an SME business, there are certain policies in place that allow small businesses to grow. So you need to look at this, because this framework itself is for your research. So you want to research on how you get, you know, resources, valuable resources, and how you'll be able to execute it. You know, but going on, we go to economical. So economical statement, policies, things like policies in place within the economic system. You might be looking for an investment. Say you're a production company and you want to produce a film. You might need, FDI, foreign direct investment. Now, does the company, does the country you stay, does it support investors from abroad? Like in the UK, there is an incentive in place, for those who invest in media production, in film production. So, and if you invest in film, a part of a tax is cut down. So now this itself would, promote investors to invest in production. So, what is the rate? The currency rate. Like now, say in my mother's land, Nigeria. In Nigeria, you want to, invest in a film, and you're from the UK. It's going to pay you nicely. I mean, the currency here is high, is high. And now when you take it to Nigeria, it's more profit for you. So you'll be like, okay, yes, I think one of the best ways for me to do this production will be in Nigeria. Or most animation production have been done in India now. They're done in India, Indonesia. Now for through America and UK, do that because of, the FDI system, the currency. One is more higher than the other. It's more productive as a business, to sometimes spend less and yield a massive, ROI on it. So they take this, you can take this into your plan. Then you have the social aspect, which is the culture. Culture itself is what drives society. From the dressing, the talking, from the dressing here, the language, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you act. It's culture. It's about culture. Okay, let's get a definition of culture. A culture is a way of life for people, which in turn can be said as tradition. Now, the culture itself is what drives everything. Business itself is a form of culture. Now, if you come, okay, let's use, anybody here listen to hip hop? Hip hop itself is a culture. You don't listen to hip hop?
I do.
Ah, good, great. I bet most of us, if you were born from the 70s down, you probably enjoy a massive array of hip hop. Hip hop itself is a culture. Is an idea, a lifestyle of a certain group of people in which they've embedded weddings into it, and they sell it to the masses. Now, but in there, like you see, lots of companies have been able to key in there. You have the, the drink in the alcohol company, the smoking, the gold. It goes on and on. You see all the bling bling chains they wear? Someone is making profit out of that. They're targeting them. You see the alcohol company? I bet you'd have seen an advert of Smirnoff, or you see Coca-Cola sponsoring, hip hop event. They're keen into that. You have where do I go? You have Hennessy. Now the Hennessy is for adults. Those who know how to hold their alcohol, For those who know how to hold their alcohol. They're keyed into that. I think there is something on artistry night. I think it's in Nigeria. In Nigeria, there's a scene called the Afrobeats. Now, it's a mixture of hip hop, soul, African music. It's all mashed up into one. You probably would have heard some of the artists in the UK. They come here to perform. Now, there's artistry night, which is sponsored by Hennessy. Now, Hennessy is like, okay, these people, they like to party. They like to enjoy. Now let's give them our products, let them buy it. Now let's just sponsor this. Now they know that once they sponsor that, everyone is going to see it. Everyone is going to key into that. They know the artists love to drink, and whatever you see your favorite artist drinking, if he or she is a role model to you, hey, I want to be like him or her. You're keen into, you drink it. You have fun with it. Similar to every other product. Even with the iPhones, they key into it. I think Lil Wayne actually just did. There was a promo, an advert online with him pouring, alcohol over the phone.
Samsung.
Yeah, the Samsung, yeah, Samsung, yeah, exactly. Now you're like, oh wow, that's brilliant. So now if my Samsung falls into the water, or I am in the club dancing and alcohol pours on my Samsung, I'm good. I can still use my Samsung. You see? So they've keyed into that. They know that Lil Wayne has a huge array of fans, throughout different denominations, throughout different cultures. They key into that. So that itself, you see, when you start to go through this, you start to see the patterns in it. So you need to be able to take these things into consideration when creating your M&A strategy. So the culture itself. Understand two things in business: people and culture. Those are the two things. It's people and culture. Yes.
It's strategy.
Huh?
Strategy.
Yeah, you missed the beginning.
Yeah. Well, we have legal. Oh, sorry, no. Technology. Yeah, technology. Yeah, there we go, technology. See, I'm a bit further. We have technology. Now, in modern times, a 5-year-old can actually be a marketer because of technology. A 3-year-old even know how to use my phone better than I do. They know how to search. Okay, that's a lie, but still. But they know how to search for content. Okay, like now everyone has a smartphone. Now, because of technology, there's been a change. The smartphone allows you to have instant information. It allows you to reach a larger audience. It allows you to do multiple things, within the dimension of, advertising and marketing. Like now, as we talk in here, someone, can video me and be like, hey, giving a speech. Here, you can tag the location right there, promote with the hashtag of the vicinity where you are. You can add, like there was back then, while we used to do video production for artists, we didn't have a lot of resources to be able to promote the artists. But what we did on YouTube was to be able to hashtag everything. This was before Twitter became popular with the hashtag. So what we do is we shoot the video, we produce it, we put it together, we upload it, and we start the hashtag. Hashtag London, hashtag the top 10 artists that is on the Billboard chart, hashtag the cities, hashtag the boroughs, hashtag any name that we think is popular. We hashtag every single thing. By the time we're done, the whole page is all filled up. And this is what we did on the way while we're going for our classes. Because as a student in London, as you need to have other ways of getting resources, money resources. So we hashtag it. By the time we're done in less than 10 minutes, it's out there, it's on the web. So if you search for, let's say, jazz, it comes up. If you search for Newham, it comes up. We're in Stratford now here. You search for Newham, it comes up. You search for Subway, it comes up. You search for anything you search of that is within the psyche mentality of the people, it comes up. So, and then we were targeting mainly young adults and teenagers. So if you search for party, it comes up. You search for whatever, new phone, it comes up. Whatever you search for, whatever thought comes into.
Search Emmanuel, did you come up?
No. Nah, come on now. We don't want to be. At that moment of time, I didn't want to be messing with my own name. Come on. But then if you search for Lumen, it will come up. I mean, that was the stage name then. That was it then. Yeah, but let's go back to it anyways. So what I'm saying is technology advances your cause. When you try to do this. So take these things into consideration. Because along the line, we're going to talk about if you don't have, the right resources. Well, like I was saying before, there are certain things you can advertise and certain things you can advertise on telly. So the legal aspect of it does take care of that aspect. But for most companies, for most businesses, the legal aspect, there are certain, regulatory laws. Sorry?
I know that it used to happen, but then it sort of changed when I started to see the supermarkets going at each other.
Yeah. That was I'm going to the supermarket. The supermarket industry. They can do that.
They can do that.
Yes, they have variety. Because don't forget, they cater to a large range of people. I mean, this is food in itself. Okay, now one is a professional. This is a professional business. Consultancy in itself is a professional business. You come in for them for advice. In itself, in reality, there's really no good or bad advice, depending on who the person is in business. Okay, let me use the word in business. There is really no good or bad advice because depending on what they want to achieve. What another consultant will say to you might be bad compared to the other consultants because they all coming from a different point of view. So, but because don't forget, in most everything around us is a form of rebellion in one way or another. everything you wear, you talk, the language you use. Even though the time education, there's a time even reading wasn't for the whole masses. It was for a small set. Everything in itself is rebellion. But let's not get sidetracked. Let's come back to where we are. So okay, we're still talking about the regulation here. We're using the India as a case study. Now, okay, they launched McDonald's. We all know the chain store of burgers. Okay, but anyways, me personally, I believe the real estate company that caters also with restaurants on one side, because all their buildings are in strategic positions where they are valued at high price. But going back to it, they launched the McD's in India. So what they found out was they would have consulted with different consultants, but most of these consultants might not be knowledgeable about the culture of that market. Social, they might not be about the culture, the creed, the religion, their way of life. So hence I was saying, like in the consultancy business, exactly. So they would have said, yes, you can do it. It's possible for us to change the market. Be it there might be 2% or 1% of people who eat beef, who eat cow, all this in there. We can change the market. But when they got there, it was a different case. When they got there, it was a different case. So they had a separate system in place. They had one system in place at first. Actually, okay, we cater to the customers who want burger. We cater to the vegetarian customers. But then they came and said, no, we don't want our meal to be in the same place with that. So what they had to do now, they had to create a new system in place, eliminate that other aspect, and put a bit on another side. So they cater to the foreigners who come to the city and they want, burger and all this things. So like I said, two different consultants, they might have approached. This is an assumption, I don't like to assume, but we're just taking it out there, just for the sake of example. Right, just for the sake of example, just for the sake of example. But going back to it, is like the price wars here, there's no regulation, that helps them, not help them, there's no regulation stopping them from bidding, for the goods or service for the market. Yeah. So, alright, so okay, here we have regulations and laws. So now we have environment now. Climate, weather, surrounding. Okay. Now if you can apply, it's just good for you to have a climate, the weather, the surrounding. And even within business, there is something I found that like even in environment, it goes beyond the natural. The natural thought of what we call environment. There's the business environment, marketing environment. So you need to take all these things into consideration. Like if we use the financial industry, the finance industry. Yeah. So now in the finance industry, stocks are going up, 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 and now there is a play in place. You're not just going to go there and say, okay, I'm going to invest £1 million and make sure I'm making the next second. The climate there says, yes, you can, but I'm going to eat your money. And if you don't have some sort of strategy in place, I'm going to eat all your money. If you don't have a map in place, you don't have a system in place, I will eat your money. They love you to come, of course, it's money. But you need to consider the environment is a fast-paced environment, it's a high-end environment. Like people get breakdown straight away. If you're not really strong-willed, I wouldn't say just go there. I'm like, dude, like someone's mortgage has just been lost in less than a second. So, but there are different scenarios in which you can think of an environment in when you're creating, if you're creating an advert or marketing strategy. So it just goes on and on and on and on. Like you can